This is the Samsung Galaxy S20, and I really love the Samsung Galaxy S line. I fell in love with it since the S8. I bought the S9, the S10, and I didn't buy the S20 this year until very late. And the reason for that was because, one, I was in India, and they only had the Exynos version, which I didn't want. Number two, I didn't really understand the phone. This had a very peculiar marketing strategy. The S lineup just really took a weird shift from being a pretty decently priced phone to being very expensive, going from, you know, that $800, $900 range right up to now $1,000 to $1,300 when it launched. So I was very confused, just didn't like much. I didn't feel the changes were justifiable enough for the price increase, and that was kind of it. I really didn't think about it. But a couple months ago, I bought the S20 FE, and after the S20 FE, I just fell in love with the Samsung S line again, and I ended up buying the S20 because I wanted to compare it. And the S20 I've been using for the last 2 months as my Android phone, and it's been fantastic. I really love it. But coming from the S20 FE, it actually gave me a very unique perspective, which I really wanted to share with you guys and just let you know what my experience with this phone has been so far, because I'm going to be switching to another phone now to kind of change things up and test them out. So this is my final review-ish thing of the S20. And I know it's super late, but I just really wanted to, talk about this and put it on the record. So right off the bat, what I love about this phone is the size. It's perfect. It's not too big, but it's not small. It fits perfectly in my hand. The size is very comfortable for one-handed use, but also big enough that watching videos, consuming content is absolutely fine. And it's not heavy. It's a very well-designed, well-weighted. It's just like the entire comfort aspect of this phone gets one of the best ratings I think I can give out. It's really extremely comfortable and very easy to use. On the topic of design, I've been quite vocal about my dislike of curved display phones, but Samsung really pulled it back this year. The curved display is almost not curved at all. It's almost like just the glass curves at the very end. The display really doesn't have a curve to it anymore. Just the very extreme corners curve a little bit at the end, and it actually is so much nicer. I like this. I ended up going from not liking the curved display at all to now kind of understanding what the advantage could be. It definitely feels a lot more comfortable, and there are no more false touches. This is what curved displays always should have been. They shouldn't have been those weird, wacky curves that were just crazy. This makes a lot more sense, and now that it's going away, I'm kind of sad. Now the S21 is rumored not to have those and go to a flat display, but they really did perfect the curve on this, in my opinion. And on the topic of the front of the phone, the display, the front punch hole camera is one of the smallest I've seen on any smartphone right now. It really is quite tiny, and it is very easy to kind of learn to live with it and not get annoyed by it. Sure, when watching video, it does still feel like a cluster of dead pixels, but since the size of it isn't that big, I've started to learn to live with it and kind of learn to ignore it willfully sometimes. And the S20 is just one of the best looking Samsung phones, I think, this year. Moving on, talking about the performance, this has the Snapdragon 865, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, which was the only option, sadly, for the S20. And overall, I have been very happy with performance. It's performed exactly as you'd expect it to. Honestly, performance with these top-of-the-line phones has become so good that I really can't even delve into it deeper. It runs everything, nothing slows down. It just works flawlessly. I haven't found a single app or a single thing that will cause it to stutter or slow down. It just works perfectly. The Snapdragon 865, it does have 5G on it. Everything just works as you'd expect, and I expect this to run smoothly for the next year or so without having any real issues. Battery life on this phone has been fine. Sure, it's not as good as the S20 FE, which had a much better battery, but surprisingly, it's not even good as the S10, but it makes sense because this has the 120 hertz display and all that. It's just I was expecting a little bit more. It's not bad. It will get you through most days without needing another charge. But if you are a power user, the battery will start annoying you because it does need a top up here and there if you're going to be using a lot. So let's talk about camera. So the S20 lineup had a crazy camera setup. The S20 Ultra had 100x zoom, just so many features, this, that. And it was almost like the S20 was forgotten, overlooked. But the camera system on this is honestly just fine. As time has gone on, it's pretty much been solidified that most of the things on the S20 Ultra were gimmicks, and the core strengths of that phone's camera, the S20 Ultra strengths, actually are shared with this phone. So camera has been significantly non-problematic. It's been a fantastic camera experience. It's definitely an upgrade from the S10, and it just takes perfect photos. no real issues whatsoever. It's a great camera. There's not much to be said. Now, if you put it side by side with some other cameras, sure, you'll be able to nitpick, but if you just need a camera to take some great photos here and there, the S20 will do the job just fine. There is no complaints with the camera system whatsoever, even if you compare it to the S20 Ultra. One little nitpick that I do have though is Samsung moved the volume and the power button to the same side this year, and I'm not a fan of it. I did like it when they were on opposite sides. So the volume buttons used to be on the left side of the phone, power used to be on the right side. I think that was a little bit more comfortable, especially when taking screenshots and stuff. It's just a little thing I noticed coming from the S10. I really wish that they had kept it the way it was, but now they have moved around. One good thing is they've kind of got rid of the dedicated Bixby button, which was super frustrating. They had it there for so long, and finally they've just gotten rid of it. Another nitpick with this phone is that the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner is fine, but I would honestly just prefer a physical fingerprint scanner. The ultrasonic still does, you know, I'd say 1 out of every 10 authentications, it will screw up, it won't recognize, I will have to retry to get in. Just a physical fingerprint scanner is honestly fine. I don't know why companies are trying to push the under display when it's just not as good, right? I've been waiting, it's been almost, I think, what, 2-3 years since under displays have started popping up, and they still haven't fixed a lot of the core issues I originally had with them, and they still, till date, haven't gotten as good as just a fingerprint scanner that is physically on the phone. I don't know why Samsung doesn't do this. It's physical on a lot of their other phones, especially their folding ones, so I don't see why they can't just do that on these as well, the S20 and Note 20 lineup as well. Hopefully in the next one we'll see that. So one good thing I did notice this year was that Samsung has improved their update speed. So they're not fast yet. I would not call them fast, but they have definitely improved. So I already have the new Android 11 and One UI 3 update on this. I got it early December. I've already had it for a couple of weeks now. And just remembering the S10 update didn't come last year until January or February. And it's always taken at least 4 or 5 months after Android, the new version of Android, comes out for Samsung to push it to their phones. So this time around, they did turn it around quicker. And I have noticed that they're staying somewhat on top of security updates as well. So I do have to commend that. So overall, I really do like the Galaxy S20. It's been a really good phone, and I have found it so hard to switch away from this. It's been such a great phone overall that it's been hard to go to any other phone from this. Now, I will say though, one kind of good thing about it is, if you're looking for this, is that the prices for this have dropped significantly. You can pick these up used or refurbished from $500 to $600. And for $500 to $600, I really don't know if I'd go with any other Android phone. It's hard to recommend anything else when you can get this. It's such a great overall device. There is no real disadvantage to it. You know, the only real thing I would ever say is that this doesn't stand out in any way, but it does everything well. It's like a jack of all trades. It's got a decent camera. It's got a decent, it's actually got a great screen. It's got a decent design. It's got a decent build. Like, it does everything really well. It just doesn't excel crazily at anything. But honestly, for $500 to $600, isn't that what you'd want? You want something that does everything well, but also doesn't kill you with the bank, you know? It does makes sense. So I would definitely recommend the Samsung Galaxy S20 if you're looking at it. Just don't buy it new. Buy it used, refurbished, whatever you can find. If you can pay $500 to $600 for this phone, I think you'll come out on top and you will really enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think of the Galaxy S20 down in the comments below if you have one. It's been out for almost a year now, so I'm sure that a lot of you have it, and you definitely will have thoughts about them. So let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on social media. I'll have all the handles right here on the screen, and of course down in the description as well. If you want to check out a refurbished one of these, I will have them linked down in the description below, so you can go over and check that out. They're about $570 or something right now. When I last checked, so selling for a pretty decent price, I'd say. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for more content, a lot more Samsung, and a lot more stuff coming in general. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.